Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marina. Today's video is going to be full of motivation, from decluttering motivation to organization motivation to saving motivation. We're going through and decluttering all the kiddos' toys and then putting them back in their room, filling their room back up with all their toys. We're going over the ins and outs of what it looks like behind the scenes when it comes to mobile home makeover here. I'm showing you how I'm slowly learning how to fit 6 people and all of their stuff in this little single wide. So without further ado, let's get this daggone thing done, son. I'm at Nanny's church. If y'all haven't been here for a while, or maybe you just haven't heard me mention it or something. Nanny pastors this church. It is their church. Nanny has been in church ministry for longer than I've been alive. She literally brought me home from the hospital and took me to church. This is her church. Her cleaning lady, she had surgery. I'm falling off the altar. I'm not on the altar. I mean, you know, I wouldn't dare stand on an altar, but I'm on the edge here of the platform. She had surgery on her eyes and she can't come over here and do her normal cleaning, and I didn't want Nanny to come over here and inhaling some harsh chemicals and stuff, and she just had a shot in her knee, so she doesn't need to be up and moving around a lot. So I told her it wouldn't be nothing for me to come over here and tidy it up a little bit. It don't need a whole lot, but it does need vacuumed and the bathrooms cleaned down and stuff. So let's do it. I was about to say let's do the daggone thing, but I don't know if that's church appropriate.
They say that time is free, then why is it so precious? Oh, I'll save memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. Time is running out. 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 Time is running out.
Nanny's trying to burn me out of here. Hey, Nanny.
Hey, honey.
Do you know that your heat's on?
What's it set on?
I don't know, but good gravy. It'll make anybody not want to go to hell. Is that what you're going for? You're trying to scare them.
70.
It's on 70.
If it's that hot in there, you don't care if you put me down on 69
Well,
or 68.
I mean, I guess it's a good way to start an altar call. Whew.
I never figured you'd have said that.
Them seats are going to be hot. You talking about fire and brimstone. I need to talk to Nanny about coming over here and doing like a fresh coat of paint, because this thing hasn't been updated in I don't know how long. Nanny's never done like a makeover on it or anything, but they did do this area between the bathrooms here. You can see they got new flooring and everything. It looks really pretty. The rest of it's gorgeous too, but you can tell there's some scuff on the walls that need to be fixed. Just a touch up.
And let the rain in. You call me by my name. Too late to turn home. We chase the night away. Come on, come on, come on, come away. Let's dance to whatever. Something to remember. Come on, come on, come on, come away. Make me unravel. Forget about the matters.
It is currently 1 a.m. on a Saturday night, and I just got in my bedroom. I've been home for a little bit, but I just got in my bedroom. Shane popped on a video game. Kiddos are all laid down and asleep. So I'm going to do a little bit of reading before I have to go to bed. I'm exhausted, but I want to get some reading done because I've been working on my reading goals. I told you guys I wanted to read more in 2023, and I've started out with a bang, y'all. I have already read, I think, on my Goodreads. I shared my Goodreads over on Insta in case anybody over there wanted to friend me over there on Goodreads. I'm not the most philosophical I'm not the most philosophical person when it comes to my reviews. Like, I just tell it how it is, being as nice as possible. Like, I'm not going to get on there and tell somebody their work's trash, because that's their work, you know. They put a lot into that. I said one was trash one time, and I felt so bad that I had to go apologize to the author. I don't think they ever saw my message, but I said it was trash, and then the Lord was really dealing with me about it. I was like, man, I didn't like the stuff that they had going on in that book. But you know what? I have learned that not every book is meant for me to read, and I'm not going to like every book, but other people will like that book, right? So, like, a lot of books I don't like, a lot of books that I read I don't like because I'm not the targeted audience, because I don't usually reach for stuff like that. And that was the case with this book that I listened to audio while I was working on the Girls Bedroom Makeover. It was like The Last Housewife. Oh, y'all, that was so dark. I would never recommend that book ever. It was too detailed. It was just... oh, like, you have to, oh, I almost put it down. I almost put it down. I almost put it down like 500 times. When you're on audio, I use audio on my library app, so it's free. But when you're on audio, you see how many hours you've clocked in listening to it, and you see, I've clocked in 6 hours, and you get to this point where you're like, I want to put it down, but then you're like, I just wasted 6 hours, but then you're like, am I going to waste 6 more hours because it's a 12-hour audiobook? What do you do? So I ended up powering through that book. I did have to skip a few parts, but I ended up powering through that book, and I gave it a 2-star, I think, because it had a good premise. The author had a great idea. I just don't think it was executed well enough for me to give it anything above a 2-star. But a couple of my friends on Goodreads rated it fairly high. So like I said, it's all about targeted audience. I'm learning to be more picky when it comes to my reading. I'm learning to read more intentionally, and I think doing that will help me read more things that I'll like. For example, I love me some Christian fiction. Marie Lou Tyndall is my favorite author on the planet. She's the author of the Escape to Paradise trilogy. That's my favorite trilogy ever. This one right here had a blurb about it from Marie Lou Tyndall. Which one is it? I think it's Mary Lou. Yeah. Did I say Marie?
Maria!
Mary Lou Tyndall. This one had a blurb from her on it. It's Christian fiction, and it's called Waterfall, and it's part of the River of Time series by Lisa Berggren. It's about this younger girl. It is, like, I guess you could consider it a little bit of YA. I've kind of moved on and migrated from the YA stuff, a lot of the YA stuff, because I'm 31. I used to love YA, but I just can't relate to, you know, a 17-year-old in high school in the gossip group, you know, like, was it called Gossip Girls or something like that? I just can't relate to that because, you know, I'm 31. My mind is far from that kind of stuff. I'm kind of migrating and finding what I like now as a 31-year-old housewife, mama, homemaker, stuff like that. I still love me some fantasy. I still love me some fairies, and I love me some vampires. But I have noticed that when it comes to my reading, I don't like to read a lot about younger characters. However, that being said, this is based on a 17-year-old named Gabby, whose mom is an archaeologist, and she gets like this tip about this really important archaeological site in Italy, and come to find out, a group of people, I can't say the name, and I don't know if it's an actual group of people, so I don't want to butcher it in case it's somebody's like heritage, you know. Episcopalians. No,
I don't think that
was it Episcopalians? There it is. Etruscans. Her and her late husband have been looking for stuff regarding these Etruscan Episcopalian. These Etruscan people forever. And she gets this really big tip on this hit of a site. Goes there, finds out there's tunnels, there's tombs, there's parts of the castle that are actually intact and not like broken apart and everything. So she takes her 2 daughters with her. Well, she gets pulled aside by an archaeologist that is native to Italy, and he kind of knows the ins and outs of the forms she needs to submit before she can go over here digging on this site and stuff like that. So he pulls her to the side. They go and they start talking, and the 2 daughters, one of them's 17, and it doesn't really specify what the younger one, how old she is, but they go into the tomb tunnel things, and they see these hieroglyphic sort of things. So one of them puts their handprint on this wall, and it matches their handprint, right? This book is like, this is how you write a book, y'all. Like, I'm only like a 20th of the way in. It is so good. She puts her hand in this hieroglyphic thing, and she's like, what? It fits perfectly. It's warm. So her sister's like, let me try my hand. So she puts her hand in this other one, and she's like, it fits perfectly. It's warm, but it's cold to the other one's hand. But it's warm to her hand. And then the other one is cold to her sister's hand, but it's warm to Gabby's hand. So she puts her hand in there, right? And everything starts spinning, and things start going haywire, and she looks out the end of the tunnel, and she sees the trees like growing and then getting smaller and then growing, and their sizes is changing. There's leaves and there's no leaves. Leaves and no leaves. She jerks herself off, grabs her sister, falls. Her sister's not in her arms, y'all. Her sister's nowhere to be found. She's like, what is going on? So she's like, I must have knocked myself out. I must be going, somebody needs to take me to the loony bin. Something's going on. She hears clanging, like clank, 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 clank outside of this tomb door wall thing. Tomb door wall thing that wasn't there when she first walked in, because she got in and she didn't have to move no tomb wall thing, but now there's magically a tomb wall thing. So she's hearing clinking, like clank, 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 and men yelling and horrible sounds, and she's like, what's going on? So she tries to move the tomb wall thing but it's too heavy, so she like has to like get in a position, her back up against the wall, and like she barely nudges it, and she sees there's an all-out battle happening outside this tomb, right? A gold team and a red team is all I know. Might as well be the Dallas Cowboys and the Packers for all I care. I can't remember the names of either 2 of the teams, but they're rivals basically. She can tell that the red team's kind of like a little haughty and kind of like a little rugged, and it also makes a mention that they have bad teeth, which I think is just so superficial, because of course you would make the mean team have bad teeth, but then it goes on to talk about how the good team has pearly white teeth. Make that make sense. I got beef. I got some chicken with you, Lisa T. Burger. Lisa T. Burger. Don't be a burger. Anyways, the good team, them and their pretty teeth, and they're also super handsome, and the other ones are kind of hefty, which now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm kind of offended. No, I don't get offended very often, but if I were to get easily offended, I would definitely get offended by that. So one of the guys on the gold team, he's super handsome, and he makes eye contact with her, right when this guy from the red team is trying to get her. While they make eye contact, like there's something special going on right there, there's a guy sneaking up on the handsome guy with the good teeth from the gold team, and she's like, hey, look behind you. So she saves his life, basically. The gold team ends up winning the battle, right? So the Packers win over the Dallas Cowboys. Are you laughing at my TED Talk? Okay, my book talk. The Packers win over the Dallas Cowboys. One of them's like, are you a witch? Because apparently witches wear blue jeans and cardigans, because they thought she was dressed weird, and they thought witches apparently back in like 4000 BC. I don't know when it was really. Was it 4000 BC? Witches in 4000 BC must wear like cardigans and skinny jeans, because that's what she had on. So they were thinking she's a witch, and she's like, no.
Didn't Harry Potter wear a cardigan and skinny jeans?
Did Harry Potter wear a cardigan and skinny jeans? She's a daggone Hufflepuff. That's what she is. Plot twist. They get to talking, and she makes up this story, because she's like, okay, I lost my mom and my sister. Isn't really entirely a fib, but is enough of a fib to be a lie, like a white lie, I guess you could say. And she's having to like fill in the lines and kind of fib a little bit, which if you're asking me, it's totally a lie. Like she's a liar at this point, but it's entertaining. She tells him that she needs his help finding her mom and her sister, because she really does need her help finding her sister, because she don't know where her sister went in the time warp zone thing that happened. She's dressed in these witchy skinny jeans and cardigan clothes, so he tells one of his failers to go fetch her what did they wear back then? A ball gown? corset, ball gown, corset, harness thing. He tells them to go get that. So he goes and gets a dress from like his sister or somebody. And come to find out, the main character, Gabby, is ultra tall. And apparently they have mentioned so many times how tall this girl is. They even said that she was made to be a warrior lady because she was like 5'11". So apparently back in the day, 4000 BC or whenever this was taking place in Italy, there's no tall women. At this point, they're thinking she's this extremely tall, witchy cardigan, skinny jean wearing lady, McLady. He takes her to his castle. Now, let me just say here, okay, his name is Marcello, and I was calling him Marcello for the longest time until Shane told me, Marina, that's Marcello. Marcello takes her to his castle. What if she's an intruder? What if this is a Trojan horse? Like, Marcello, get with the program. You're wanting to be lord of this castle of the gold packers. You need to get with the program. Not everybody's your friend, Marcello. So she goes in here, and his dad is a little bit more like, because he's still lord, but he's not about to be lord. It's a whole thing. You'll have to read the book. I'm not giving you any spoilers or anything. This is all happens within like the first 20 pages of the book. It is so fast paced. What the back of the book says is Marcello, the feller, let's call him the quarterback of the Packers team, okay? He and Gabby apparently struck up this relationship. So she falls in love with a boy that's not from her timeline. How's it going to end? I don't know, but I was so intrigued by it. So I'm reading this right now that y'all got that out. I'm going to go actually read now before bed, and then I will catch up with y'all in the morning. Today's the day we're going to get my house together. I wish you guys could be in here and see the state of this house. It's terrible. I wish you could see how bad it really is, because on camera it just doesn't do it justice. I'm gonna let Shane give y'all the grocery haul real quick for this week, and then we'll pop back in here and we're gonna talk a little bit about what the makeover process is like for me before, during, and after, because I've gotten a ton of questions about what that looks like for me. What kind of stuff do I do beforehand? What kind of stuff do I do smack dab in the middle of it, which is not much other than the makeover at school, and then what I do after to kind of catch up after the makeover, because it's pure chaos in here. So we're going to sit down and talk about that. And then we're also going to restock the girls' bedroom and purge some of their stuff. I got a lot of questions like this. People were like, where's the toys? Even my mom texted me and was like, Marina, where's the toys? I also got a lot of questions like this too, with questions and concerns about the makeover, so we'll go over that. I don't mind questions like this. It's what the comment section is for. This isn't rude or anything. It's just probably a question that most of y'all are thinking about but just don't want to ask in fear of looking rude or something. I know a lot of YouTubers don't like to be questioned about things, but I see the comment section as that. I mean, the comment section is by no means an open door to bash me or to make fun of me or to make fun of my family or anything. So comments like that I don't tolerate anymore. But if there's concerns or even differing opinions than my own opinions, then that is what the comment section is for. This question is a lot different than questions like this, who are sarcastic and random and kind of quite confusing. We'll get into all the answers to all the questions and into all the info after this grocery haul.
What's up, everybody? It's the Abominable Snowman here, bringing you another grocery haul, because I know that is the light of your week, the moment that you wait for when you nestle your head into your pillow. You just dream of sugar plums and awesomely created presenting a grocery haul. So yeah, come on. Alright, first off, we got this big old thing of meat here. Sad thing is, I know this ain't for me. This is for the doggos, ain't it?
Nope, it's for you.
Oh, is it? So this ain't to make their meatballs?
Nope.
Yes. Alright, then we got some parchment paper here. We got some Black Forest ham. Some hamburger buns. We got some bacon. You know, no household should ever go without bacon. We've got some chicken breasts here. This is not part of the grocery haul. Let's see. We got some cream cheese. Ooh, we got three different flavors of yogurt. So we got strawberry, blueberry, and strawberry banana. We've got some butter here. We had to reload on some condiments here, so we got some mustard, some catsup, some barbecue, some ranch, and some Italian. Then we got a pack of chicken patties here. packet of Italian dressing. We got, oh sweet, we got 2 cans of manwiches. I don't know about y'all, but I love these things. Does anybody else's kids' hangers mysteriously go missing like socks and underwear? Well, ours does, and so we had to get some more kid hangers. We got a thing of sprinkles. We've got some penne. We got 2 boxes of stovetop chicken, which makes me happy. Does that mean casseroles in our near future? Maybe. Maybe. We've got some more pancake mix here. 2 packs of semi-sweet chocolate chip. What is semi-sweet? I have never heard of something being called semi-sweet.
Used in baking.
Well, hopefully I can get me some apples that are semi-sour. You reckon? You know it, you love it, say it with me. Hashtag Tater Nation. And of course we've got 2 bags of regular taters and 1 bag of golden taters. Which makes me curious, are you making those really good taters with like the garlic and all that on it?
The tater wedges?
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd you know?
Oh, I know. It's my tater senses. We got some cornstarch here. Some powdered sugar. We've got some all-purpose flour along with some pure granulated sugar. We got a pack of halos here. We got a ton of bananas, cantaloupe here. We got a green pepper, a pack of blueberries. I'm assuming we're going to have blueberries either on pancakes or blueberry waffles. We've got some baby carrots. We got some broccoli here, some salad, some grapes, tea, milk, double eggs.
That's what you get when you actually stay within your budget.
This is what we get when we stay on our budget. That was the grocery haul. So sad that it was so short. I know you guys wanted more time with me. We'll try to make it longer next time. Till then, I will catch y'all on the flip side.
Okay, sitting down here for a hot minute before we get started on this madness to talk with you guys a little bit about the questions that I got regarding the last video, and then more specifically what the makeover process looks like for me, all the ins and outs. So touching on the first statement in this that I want to talk about, talking about how we built 2 big old shelves and then filled it with decor. Those shelves are for decorative purposes. I cannot put a lot of heavy stuff on there, especially when it comes to storage, because we have mobile home walls. And while we do have those stable and they're in the studs and they're bracketed down, it would be playing with fire to put storage on those, especially when it comes to dolls, toys and stuff. All that is very heavy, and when you play with fire you get burnt. So I did that more so for decorative purposes and for extra lighting because that room is really dim. Those shelves, those lights underneath, help provide a lot of light along with the LED lights that we put up. So the same as you would hang up shelves in your home, put decor on, that's kind of my mindset doing that. I made sure that there was plenty of other options when it comes to storage in other areas of the room. So using those shelves for storage wasn't practical because of the state of our walls and the type of house that we live in, because I didn't want to play with fire when it came to the weight, specifically because it was over my girls' beds. So that is made for lightweight decor, just stuff to make the room look aesthetically pleasing to my girls. My girls looked around, they shopped for what they liked, they found what they like, and putting stuff on those shelves helped me keep stuff off of the walls, which is what I really want to do, because I didn't want nail holes to be everywhere, because we're constantly switching decor around in there because I constantly want to change. The girls want to put this there, then that there, and then that there. Whenever you're putting things on the walls like that, you have pinholes everywhere, little nail holes everywhere. The 2 shelves provide a way for them to move around their decor without damaging the walls and making it look like tacky in there. Those shelves were not by any means made to hold any storage, because under the beds there's storage, under the TV there's storage, in their closet there's storage, there's other areas around the room that will provide an adequate amount of storage. That being said though, I absolutely will store some of the things. If you looked in the last video, you would see a love sign that lit up. Behind it there's a box. It's a box that looks identical to the ones underneath their beds. Stuff is going to go in that, probably lightweight stuff like LOL accessories or extra doll clothes, whatever the girls don't really play with a whole lot that they don't need every day. They can come and ask me and their daddy to get it down. We'll grab it down. Maybe we'll even put it on the second shelf, see if they can reach it from there. I just don't want them pulling on those shelves a lot, because while they are sturdy, while they are, I mean, cemented to that wall in the studs, things can happen. Freak accidents can happen, and that's just like I said, you play with fire, you get burning. I don't want putting any stress on those shelves than what I have to. The wood in itself already weighs a whole lot. Had to use that kind of wood if we wanted that sort of vibe, the thicker shelves, thicker than the sneaker shelves. So the wood itself already adds a lot of weight. I'm not willing to add more weight with storage. That decor that you saw is very lightweight, and that's why I went very minimal with the decor on there. I could have done the whole Cracker Barrel look, as I like to call it, where it's just entirely filled with decor, but that would have been added weight, and I knew we were going to store a few things up there, like little things, so I didn't want to add any more weight to that. The second statement was that I said that they would outgrow the bunk beds, but then went on to build even smaller beds. I did say they were going to outgrow the bunk beds, and I also said they were going to outgrow the smaller beds, but what I also said was the main reason we got rid of the bunk beds was due to space within the room. Those beds were too big for the space that we have in the room for 2 kids. Because the girls could fit in these beds right now and for several years ahead, we'll get several years out of these beds that we built them. So while they're still little and while they have so many toys, because the older they get, the less toys they have, the more electronics and stuff that you get, books, stuff like that, the toys will quickly dwindle. But while they do have the amount of toys that they have, and while they are so interested in toys, I wanted to maximize on space so they would have room to play with those toys. The bunk beds minimized the space that they had to play with those toys and also to store those toys. We had very little places to move around. They also blocked 3 areas no matter where you put them. They would either block the entryway, which is how we had them when you guys saw the before of the room. They would block the window, which the sticker on the window says do not block. And then if you put them on the opposite wall as to what they were whenever y'all saw the video, on the opposite wall, it would block the entry to the closet and you couldn't get in the closet. So that's what I meant when I said I was talking about them outgrowing them and how they would outgrow those and the beds that we made, but them outgrowing the beds wasn't the main reason we got rid of the bunk beds. The main reason we got rid of the bunk beds was because we wanted to maximize space and we wanted to maximize storage. We wanted the girls to go in there and not feel claustrophobic. I also am happy I now don't have to squeeze in between a little area like this to go in there and hang up their clothes. It was like I was vacuuming a square, y'all. That's how much room they had. So that is why I got rid of the bunk beds and we built smaller beds. The beds themselves are 2x5s. And like I said, I slept on one the prior night just to be sure that my kiddos would be comfortable. I had them test them out, and I told them that if it, at any time, even if it's tomorrow, even if it's this evening, if they get uncomfortable or they feel like those beds aren't doing it for them, we'll improvise if we have to. The main goal is for them to be comfortable over anything. So if we have to improvise, we will figure something out. But as of right now, they have slept on them for 3 nights. And they absolutely love them. They had no complaints. So as of right now, they're working good. And then the last statement I'll touch on within this comment itself is that she wished that she would see the toys in there. And I mentioned in the video, I could see why a lot of people would have missed it, because I know in long videos, that was an hour-long video, you skip around a lot. But the hour-long video is exactly why I didn't add the process of purging and restocking the room with the toys. It would have been movie length at that point, and I would have had to start selling tickets. So I broke it up and made it just a makeover video within itself, and then this video where you guys are going along with me. We're purging stuff, we're seeing what we really need, what we really want, and we're restocking the room, getting everything organized in its home there. I got a ton of questions about the toys. Like I said, even my mama was like, Merina, where's the toys? I did mention it, I think a couple of times in the video, at least once I know for sure. But if you missed it, that's why you guys are just seeing the toys being brought into the room. It's because it would have just lengthened that video even more. And on the opposite end, I really wanted to take time with the girls and make sure they were getting rid of things they really wanted to get rid of, and not just me pushing them and pressuring them to get rid of things that they actually might want to keep. Stuff like that with me takes time, because I want to make sure my kids aren't just doing it to please me or to please their daddy, or just because they think we want them to get rid of something. I want them to get rid of it because they want to, and when it comes down to a hard decision, that they make that decision and they have time to make that decision. My videos are never rushed, they're never hurried. So if I feel that we need more time than what the video provides us, then the time is prioritized. Other comments that I'll touch on that I saw talking about the mattress and how they'll be really hot in the summer, I did not take that into consideration, but one of you guys suggested if they do get hot in the summer that you can get cooling mats to go on top of it. So that's something that we'll definitely look into if we have to. I didn't know high density foam got really hot in the summer, so I if it happens, we'll get some of those cooling mats and we'll cut them down if we have to get that 2x5 rectangle, and we'll go from there. A lot of people asked if they were comfortable. They are comfortable. Like I said, I slept on them. My girls have had no complaints whatsoever, and Colton loved them so much that he has now asked for them. He laid on them and he was like, okay, I need these. So even though high density foam isn't like memory foam, it's still very comfortable depending on what kind of bed you like. If you like a bed that you sink down in, it's not going to be comfortable. If you like a more firm bed, then it's going to be comfortable. It's like it's just like foam. Like you put your finger in it and it just goes. I mean, it barely dents with me on it. It is used in a lot of the RVs though, and I have a neighbor who uses it in their RV and it's completely comfortable for them, so they have no complaints either. It just depends on bed preference. A lot of people are talking about the chemicals, and they would be afraid of the chemicals that the high density foam released while the kids were sleeping on them, and we looked into that, made sure that it was safe, because that was something that concerned me when I heard that. I couldn't find anything on it being more toxic than the average memory foam or high density foam mattress. I'll bring it up to their doctor at their next doctor appointment, but I don't think it's going to be a problem as long as they don't have allergies to stuff like that. That was one thing that Google specified, is it would be an issue if they had allergies specific to foam and poly something other, that sort of thing. They don't, that I know of, but if it becomes an issue, like I said, we'll play it by ear and we'll improvise if we have to. Doing a makeover, a home makeover, especially thinking outside of the box and getting creative with it, you've kind of got to play it by ear. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this instance, it has worked so far, but if something comes up to make it not work, then we'll improvise. That's kind of the price you pay for going against the grain and doing something a little different. When I do makeovers, do not hesitate to ask me questions like I touched on just now, in fear of sounding rude or in fear of feeling like you're prying. That's what the comment section is for. I'm here for all the questions. I'm here for all the tips, the constructive criticism, all of that stuff. The things I'm not here for is the making fun of my family. Just the unnecessary harshness, like sarcastic comment. Don't let me take your time from you. Like, don't let me do that to you. You deserve to spend your time on earth on the things that you love and the things you enjoy to do. Do not let somebody you dislike a lot on the internet take away your time. It's the most precious thing you have. That's doing yourself a disservice. Don't let me do that. I don't want to do that. I like diversity in my community. I like diversity on every block. I like people who live differently than me in here, who look differently than me in here, who have differing opinions, who have differing views, who have differing political views, religious views, views in general, mountain views, river views. Like, I love diversity, because you don't really have a completed community unless you have diversity. You want people from every walk of life. The older generation, the younger generation. You don't have anybody to teach you if you don't have the older generation, and you don't have anybody to teach if you don't have the younger generation. It's super crucial that you surround yourself with different people. If you don't, it's just like I've said 1,000 times. If y'all just went with everything that I did and was like, yes, Merina, it would be a cult. I want that friendship. A real friend is going to walk in here and be like, Merina, make this make sense. Why'd you do this to the beds? I need to know. Merina, I love that makeover. Are you sure that the beds are safe for your kiddos though? That's what real friends do. Like, I'm not going to be afraid to go over to my friend's house and see something in their house. Like, say, I knew nothing about high density foam beds. I went in there and I saw that the foam was high density foam beds, and I'm like, girl, I love it. Like, you did so good. Is that going to be safe for your kiddos though? Because I care about them and I care about their kiddos. That's what friends do. You guys, I don't want you guys to fall into the follower cult category. I want it to remain as it is, and y'all be my friends. And being my friends is sometimes telling me things that I might not want to hear, and being a little constructive with your criticism in a kind way. Like I said, if you come on here and you're a booty head, then you're not my friend. I want you to be, but you obviously don't see yourself as my friend. But as for the people who do consider themselves my friends, I don't want you to ever be afraid to talk with me honestly, to be honest, and to bring things up that I might not have realized at the time of doing the bedroom makeover. Like corners. Y'all were talking about how I needed corner pads on the shelves and on the cubby hole so that the kiddos don't hit their heads on the corners and hurt themselves. That's not a negative comment at all. Don't ever be afraid to say something like that. I value that kind of comment, because that shows me that you really care and that you're concerned about not only my well-being but their well-being too. And you're so concerned that you feel like that's an appropriate comment to make. Like, hey girl, try to get you some corner pads on those shelves so that they don't hurt the kiddos, or so they don't run into it and hurt their head or something. That's a friend. Alright, the befores, the middles and the afters in a makeover. So long before I begin a makeover, I set aside an amount that I think I'm going to need within an envelope. I write the number on it and I start saving. For example, I don't have the specific numbers for the bedroom because I got rid of the envelope. If you guys are wanting me to start sharing with you the budget of each makeover I can do that if that's something. I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in, but if it is, I can start tallying up and keeping my envelopes and showing you guys in the video how much it actually costs to give you guys an idea in case you wanted to do something similar. But long before I start the makeover, I start saving for the makeover. Even if I don't have an idea yet of what I really want to do, if I have an idea for that area and I'm thinking, okay, I want to start switching that up a little bit, or okay, I've got some inspo for that corner, then I get an envelope, I put the name for the makeover on that envelope, and then I start putting money in that envelope whenever I can, depending on how fast I want it done, how badly I want it done, if I need time to think about what I want to really do to that area, if I need time to really design it, I can put less in it rather than hurrying up and getting a bunch in there because I'm hot and ready to get this makeover done. Sometimes I think of a makeover and I'm like, I want to do it tomorrow. I don't have the money to do it tomorrow, but I start saving and prioritizing that envelope over the other envelopes I have going to make sure I get the funds in there as fast as I can so I can get that makeover done while I'm still inspired to do it. So that's the first step, is to create an envelope and kind of set a rough draft budget as to how much you think that you'll need saved in that envelope. The next step is I sit down and I really get to thinking about what I want to see in the area. I start thinking about storage space, how I can maximize storage in the single wide with 6 people living in it. I start thinking of how I can maximize space and still make it aesthetically pleasing to my eyes. I start thinking about all of those things and I write all them down so I don't forget because I'm a very forgetful person. I haven't always prioritized storage and space when it comes to my makeovers. That's only something I've started recently doing within the past year, but you live and you learn and you get wise over the years, and I have slowly realized that over being aesthetically pleasing, over pleasing to the eyes in my house, for it to be functional and for it to really work for my family, it has to be created, fearfully created, in a way that I can use it and not just look at it. In this process, I start to brainstorm with Shane. I give him my ideas and he puts it on paper because he's the visual one of us. So while I'm giving him ideas, he'll be doing rough drafts of sketches like you saw in the last video, in the girls' bedroom makeover video. He'll be doing those sketches to kind of get an idea to what we can really do, because mine go far and above and beyond. And he kind of brings it back down to earth. And he's like, you got to get back in this galaxy, Merina. Like, this is what we can do. This is how we'll have to tweak it in order to make it structurally sound. This is how we'll have to tweak it in order to get the measurements right. This is how we can do it within the budget given the price of lumber. That's all Shane's job. That's what he does best, and he does it good, y'all. Sometimes he pops my balloon and rains on my parade, but I know it's for the good of the house. The next thing we do after we get the rough draft sketch and we got all of our ideas written down and we've kind of got it on paper, at least the rough draft anyway, I go into Lowe's, given what material Shane tells me I'll need, and I'll add it to my Lowe's cart, and I'll add everything in there that I need down to the caulk and paint brushes, and I'll look at the cart and see how much is in there for the building materials alone. So this doesn't include the decor, the bedding if it's a bedroom, or anything like that. It's just the building materials alone. Wood, screws, nails for the nail gun, paneling if it's something we're using paneling like brick paneling on or something, anything like that, down to like a roll of Scotch tape. I put everything in that cart so I can get an idea of how much the building materials themselves are going to cost. I compare it to my price that I've set on the envelope and how much I have in the envelope, and I keep an eye on it. When it starts evening out, I start really keeping an eye on it, and when my envelope surpasses the amount in the Lowe's cart that I've set for the building materials and it gives me a little room for decor, that's when I start shopping. I use the Lowe's cart to gauge my cost when it comes to the big stuff, and then anything surpassing that in the envelope I use to budget out the decor and the little stuff. That is when I start hitting up stores like Ross and TJ Maxx and Ollie's, the discount stores that I can find stuff and I can find little gems for a really good price. I don't do a lot of, somebody asked me if I did a lot of Goodwill shopping or Salvation Army shopping, and I don't, only because the few times I've went to Goodwill, I've never been able to find anything. I do, however, have a good Christian faith-based thrift store around me, and that's where we got the boys dresser drawer thing at, and sometimes they have really good things. Sometimes you can find really good items, quality items in there, but a lot of the times I choose to hit up places like Ross because it's my favorite place on the earth, and TJ Maxx and Ollie's and Dollar General and sometimes Walmart. Cheap places like that, sometimes they're cheap. Try to find things that we need as cheap as I possibly can so that we can stay within the budget and I can really maximize that budget and really get everything I need within that budget. Once I've checked all those places that sell stuff at a discounted price, after that is when I really hit up Walmart for the regular price stuff, and I hit up Hobby Lobby, and I hit up Amazon. I only hit up those places after the fact that I've went and I've already looked for what I need in the discounted places, and maybe I just didn't find it there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to resort to going to these places like Amazon, Walmart, Hobby Lobby to get what I need. Hobby Lobby is one of those that's kind of seesawing. Sometimes it's really discounted if the things are on the so many percentage off weeks, but if it's not, then I consider it just a regular store and I go after the fact that I've went other places that are more affordable. While shopping for what I need, I keep one of these. It's just a piece of cardstock and I use the back of it. I keep one of these in my envelope at all times, and it's just my little budget tracker. I had it upside down. It's just my little budget tracker, and what it does is I have a column here for the store that I go to, a column here for how much I spent at that store, and then a column here for how much I have remaining after I spent that, just so I can keep up with how much money I've spent, because nobody wants to get to the cash register with $20 in their envelope and they're thinking they have 65, and you get there and you're like, oh snap. Nobody wants to do that. So this is how I keep track of how much I've spent, where I've spent it at, and what I have left to spend. You'll find one of these in every single envelope. During the makeover, there's not a lot going on other than just pure chaos. I usually wake up, feed the kiddos a quick breakfast, do school, go straight from school to the makeover, and work on the makeover all evening long because that's how our schedule works out. I can do the painting and the little things like that by myself, and sometimes I do. You guys will see me in the video by myself, but for the big stuff I want Shane there. I don't trust myself, so we have to kind of go with our schedules and do the makeover when we can. That's oftentimes why it takes so long for me to get a makeover done. I have 1,000 things going on at once, and I kind of gotta fit the makeover in wherever I can. So like usually, like I said, a normal average day while I'm doing a makeover is I wake up, feed the kiddos a quick breakfast, get on school, feed the kiddos a quick lunch, and then jump right into the makeover, and we eat out a lot during that time, which is something I'd like to change. I would like to start, before I start a makeover, I would like to start doing bulk freezer meals so we can just pop stuff in the oven, and that would cut out cost of eating out, and it would make sure that we had a really good meal and we're not eating McDonald's dollar menu for like 2 days in a row. That's what the average day looks like, but a day where we have a lot of appointments, like therapy appointments and stuff like that, then we have to kind of weave it in there and just get to it when we can. During the makeover, it is wild. It is crazy in here. It is cluttered in here. It drives me crazy leaving that room because we live in such a small space that when we remove everything out of a room, we have to put it into a room. So we're cleaning out a room to clutter a room. And that's never fun, walking into your house, no matter how organized you think you have things set up. Over a period of a week or two, it gets disarrayed and it gets messy and everything. So you think that you're going to be done with the work and you're ready for a nap by the time that you get done with the makeover, but in reality you just end work to start work, just a different job. So after we've done the work on the makeover, that's when I start at work on getting the house back together, getting caught up on laundry. The dishes are usually caught up on because, like I said, we eat a lot out and we're not using a whole lot of dishes during that time. The house is disarrayed. There's stuff everywhere. The trash in the bathrooms may be overflowing, but mostly the laundry is an issue. So I got caught up with all my laundry. There was once a time where I actually got caught up with all my laundry, and then a makeover happened. And now we're back to almost square one. So I don't have a routine while doing the makeovers, and that's something I've been trying to work on. It takes a lot because in order to get a routine in a time like that, you have to be so you have to be really good at multitasking, and I am the worst at multitasking. So it's hard to juggle everything, you know. That's something I'd like to work on, but that is what it looks like right now in the middle of a makeover for me. It's migrating things around. After the makeover, like I said, that's when things really amp up. That's when the dreaded cleaning begins and you're trying to get everything caught back up. It definitely ain't nap time yet. I got so much to do by the time the makeover is done and it's edited and it's up that it's not even funny, because it took me, let's see, for this last video for the girls bedroom makeover, it took me 10.5 hours to edit in a whole. That doesn't count the amount of time it takes to upload, to do the tags, to do the thumbnail, the details, all the behind the scenes stuff. It takes quite a bit, so that's an entire day that I lose too when it comes to housework and stuff. So I've really got to play catch up after I get it completely filmed, edited, and uploaded and the video is posted. That's when I really start playing catch up. And if I'm being honest, it takes me weeks to recover from a makeover. Not like physically, like recover my house. Like it takes me weeks to catch my house back up to where it was before I started the makeover. That's just the price you pay for making a room pretty around here. And that's a large makeover. So that's like if it's a whole room, like the girls' room or our bedroom or the boys' bedroom, the living room. But like if it's just a small one, like a decorate with me, where I'm just doing a corner in the room or something like that, it won't be as bad. But when it comes to big projects like the beams, like the L-shaped island, or the whole room makeovers, then it does definitely take weeks to recover from one of those. Now that you guys know what it looks like before, in the middle, and after of our makeovers, let's get to purging and decluttering and seeing what exactly we're going to keep of this girl stuff. They're going to be in the background telling me what they want and what they don't want, because I don't touch their stuff without them telling me what they want me to get rid of. I will not get rid of anything unless they tell me to do so. Our conversations actually entail like us conversing and compromising. So we're gonna see what we're gonna keep, what we're gonna purge, and how we're gonna store it.
Where the motor stops, 'cause when I want it, then I want it, yeah, I want it, oh, I want it, let's go. Look around, where's the people at? I want a taste of the good life, hit me with it, right now I'm in it. 'Cause when I want it, then I want it, yeah, I want it, oh, I want it, let's go. And I won't look back, yeah, I don't care about the bad. Back home, it's Cincinnati, baby, I just wanna let it go. Nothing matters when we're way out here, oh, yeah. Maybe I don't have to know your real name, I'm just addicted to the way you take the pain away. Nothing matters when we're way out here, oh, yeah. Cincinnati, baby, Cincinnati, baby. You said, yeah, Cincinnati, baby, Cincinnati, baby. It's 2 a.m. when we close the bar, but we're in the get-go. Next place, give me someone I could dance with you beneath the stars. 'Cause when I want it, then I want it, yeah, I want you. Everything stops when you move like that, and I wanna get in close to you. It's what I'm gonna do, 'cause right now I'm in it. I feel kinda dizzy when I'm staring at you. And I won't look back, yeah, I don't care about the bad. Back home, it's Cincinnati, baby, I just wanna let it go. Nothing matters when we're way out here, oh, yeah. Maybe I don't have to know your real name, I'm just addicted to the way you take the pain away. Nothing matters when we're way out here, oh, yeah. Cincinnati, baby, Cincinnati, baby. Yeah, you said, Cincinnati, baby, Cincinnati, baby. Everything stops when you move like that, yeah. Everything stops when you move like that, yeah. Everything stops when you move like that, and I wanna get in close to you. It's what I'm gonna do, 'cause right now I'm in it. Yeah, I'm in it. I don't care about the back home, it's Cincinnati, baby, I just wanna let it go. Nothing matters when we're way out here, oh, yeah. Maybe
you see through your impatient. Let the stars align. The way you've been staring at me wakes me up like the sun. I don't wanna cut you off, but I know this is such a rush. The way you move so free, put your body next to me. I don't wanna cut you off. This is such a rush. Like this game is so bittersweet. I feel alive, it's so hard to breathe. Will it be over if you got what you need? See now, ooh la 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 la. See now, ooh la 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 la. You do you and I'll do me. Oh, you do me and I'll do you. Now, ooh la 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 la. I see that you see me, that you need me, not to waste your time. I see that you see through your impatient. Let the stars align. The way you've been staring at me wakes me up like the sun. But I'm afraid I will waste your time. I don't wanna cut you off.
Alright, y'all ready to see what we're purging of? This is what we're purging. We're getting rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags of stuff. That's not including the trash bags that have already been taken out. Big vehicles and big baby carriers, skates, critter houses, little My Life things that we have no room for. It's not fitting anywhere. It doesn't have a room in the home. We literally can't fit it in the room without crowding it all over again, which defeats the purpose of remaking the room so that it will be more spacious. So all of this is headed to another child who will hopefully get many years of enjoyment out of it. Now time for the room tour. Y'all have seen it when it's made over without all of their stuff in it, and now you're going to see it with all of their stuff in it. To touch on a couple of questions that I've received today while I've been doing this, I've been going back and forth in the comments so that I can read as many as possible. Questions I've been asked, comments that have been commented. Somebody said, I know this isn't a $20 in the envelope kind of makeover, and they are absolutely right. This makeover was prioritized over all of them. So there were some weeks where only $15 went in or $20 went in. That is way more than I usually put in my envelopes per week. So that's even a lot in itself. But there also were some weeks where I prioritized this and didn't put anything else in the other envelope. Months where I didn't put anything else in the other envelopes. And I was able to put $150, $250 in this envelope. I saved to get this done. And it took me right at a year. I started saving on my envelope. I remember on the back of it said January 4th, 2021. That's just when I started though. I didn't get serious about saving until around the January 2022. I'd already saved up a handful of money to go towards it. Like I said, it hadn't been prioritized through the year of 2021. Just because I had other things on my mind, and the girls didn't want a makeover. I literally just started the envelope just in case they decided they wanted one. And I'm glad I did because it gave me a sort of foundation to start saving on. So this was saved over a period of 2 years, but really like down to the grind saving for about a year. Right at a year, honestly. I also accumulated this stuff over time, so that also helped. So you guys was hearing every time I would get something, I'd say, oh, I just got something for the girls' room. Oh, I just ordered something off of Amazon. Oh, I just found this. I gradually did it over time because I had the time to do that. So it was definitely not a $20 budget. It was a very expensive budget, but I saved my hind end off for 2 years, 1 year real hardcore to get this done. So I'm living proof that if you really want something done, it may take a lot of patience, but you can get it done. And remember, you don't have to go all extravagant like I went. A coat of paint changes the entire place. If you want your room to look bigger and you can't afford to do custom beds, do a lighter coat of paint. A lighter paint color will make the room look way more spacious, especially if it's already a dark color. Painting furniture white will also, if white's your thing, will also make the room feel bigger. Getting new bedding, refreshing the bedding, that makes a room look 100% different. Adding some fairy lights, not greenery, not all these lights or anything, just some simple fairy lights pots that you can literally find at the Dollar General. Adding some of that can change an entire area. Making your own flowers up here, change an entire area. You can make your own canopy out of fabric from Hobby Lobby that's on clearance, or from Walmart that's on clearance. So many things you can do. You can do a lot with a little. Let me show you how functional this bedroom is and how this storage is super functional. So walking in, you'll notice they have their Squishmallows now on their bed. This was not on there whenever I showed you guys the afters in the last video. This is the stuffed animals they are keeping. All the other ones that you guys saw that covered their entire 2 bunk beds, they're gone. This in itself I thought was too much, but I did compromise with them because they did make some really hard decisions when it comes to stuffed animals. They really wanted to keep some of them, but they really took their time and thought critically about what they wanted versus what they wanted to let go of. And so for making that hard decision, I compromised and I allowed them to have all their Squishmallows, which are new, and then stuff like this, which is already really important to them because their papaw got them. That one and the white one right here, chilling. And then ones like these are really special to them. This one's name is Chachi, and he's been with us for forever. So all these will probably get scooted over to the corner when they go to bed, but for right now they cuddle up on them. I walked in here earlier and everybody was splayed all over the place on the Squishmallows. So that is how the top of the bed has changed since you guys have seen it. Before I hit the storage part down here, up here, referring back to that comment that said we didn't store anything on here, we did not end up storing a whole lot on here. I do have an extra bin up there. You guys can kind of see behind that love sign in case we do need more storage. The only storage on here that I'm comfortable storing up here is their art supplies. So this is their Copic markers, their alcohol-based markers. This is their crayons, their Crayola markers, and their coloring pencils. In this thing up here, they have their Precious Moments Bibles, and extra pencils, and erasers, and markers. And in these 2 things right here, that's all the coloring books that they kept. They got rid of quite a bit of coloring books. So this is their art area in their room now. Up there is their bracelet making beads, their little hair clip accessories that won't clip over here on this thing, extra hair bows. They won't be able to reach that, but if they do need a hair bow while they're getting ready or something, all they have to do is holler at me and I'll come in here and get that. That is the only thing that's changed about this area. I didn't want to Cracker Barrel it up. I didn't want to clutter it too much, so we just went with that, and I think that looks really good. I like how it's clear too, so it doesn't make it look crowded. What's changed over here is we have bows on the bow holder. We did get rid of a few bows, but not a whole lot because they do enjoy picking out bows to go with their outfits. So we kept quite a bit, but we did get rid of a few of those. Alright, now storage bin time. So they just recently made their beds. But their hoverboards are tucked in back here beside their containers. Each of these containers holds a different kind of toy. And we only kept the amount of toys that would fit in these containers. So if we were doing LOLs and OMGs, we only kept the amount that would fit in this container. Anything else we donated to another kid. So for example, in this one, you can see there's LOLs. They're packed to the brim because they tried to keep as many as they could. They went through and really thought about the ones they wanted to keep, and I think that helped them because a lot of times they didn't play with these toys because they were so overwhelmed with how many they had. So now that we have it dialed back a little bit and condensed, I think that they'll play with stuff a lot more. Back there, because these are 12-inch deep, we have their helmets to their hoverboards. So creative storage. We've done that with almost all of these cubbies. We've put stuff back behind there because it's 12 inches deep and we don't want to just pull these to the forward and not utilize that space behind there. So a lot of things are back behind those bins that you can't see and that they don't get out very often, just to utilize that space. There's no reason to have 12-inch deep cabinets if you don't use all the 12 inches. So we really use the heck out of those. That's what's in this bin. And this one, it's just this one and the hoverboard because we had to store them, vertically. And this one, it's all of their Barbies. Some Disney Barbies are in here because we had room for them, but there's another bin for Disney Barbies specifically. So that's why you'll see Disney Barbies in this one and Disney Barbies in the other one. We filled it to the brim, but didn't keep anything that wouldn't fit in there. That was my stipulation when compromising with them. I wanted them to get rid of stuff, and if I hadn't have put a sort of stipulation on it, you know, not really a stipulation, just a, what would you say? I advised them. I was like, hey, you can make another child happy if you get rid of some of this stuff. I think that you would enjoy playing with the things you have more if you would get rid of some of this stuff and kind of condense it. Will you guys be willing to compromise? And they were, of course, more than happy to compromise because they're great kiddos. But this one is all their minis. So this is all their mini Barbie dolls. Their Anias and Elsias and Tianias and all of those. That's what's in there. Like I said, nothing back behind there because those are stored differently than the rest of them. Let me lift this blanket here. This one we actually didn't have anything to store in, so we just stored extra LOLs and stuff. We got rid of, I think it was 4 OMG dolls, 2 tween dolls, and over 10 LOLs. That's how many we got rid of altogether. So they were able to keep some of these that wouldn't fit in this extra bin, just because I gave them that option. There was nothing else to put in here. It's going to be an empty bin. So I was like, hey, you guys can pick whether you want to keep extra Disney dolls, extra mini dolls, extra calico critters, whatever it is you want to keep, and put it in this bin. And they chose LOLs and OMGs. Back behind here, we have our favorite little stuffed animals. So those are stuffed animals that mean a lot to them, that are sentimental, that they don't have room for, or they don't like the way that it looks up on their bed. I gave them the option of what they wanted to store down here, sentimental wise, versus up on top of the bed, and they chose to store these down here. And then in this one, we have all the Disney dolls that they were able to keep. They filled it up and got rid of whatever wouldn't fit in there. And they actually have American dolls that I told Shane to put back here, but apparently he misunderstood me. So we'll probably find the American dolls when we're somewhere else where they're not supposed to be, and that Shane's doing, just because I guess I wasn't clear enough on where they went. But the American Girl dolls get stored back there because they have room for them. And it's not American Girl dolls, it's like My Life dolls from Walmart. Reading Nook didn't change, but we did have this bin over here. It's just a bin that they already had. It's a sparkly bin with all these little pretty sparkle things on it. It's got all their little electronics, like their switches, DS's, DS games, and stuff like that. They wanted it here easily accessible for them in case they wanted to sit in their little tent and play their games. So we added that here. The showstopper, this thing right here, came in such handy. So I got a lot of questions about this, about where I got it. I got it out of my closet. If you've been here a while, you have probably seen this 100 times in my closet. These are from my closet. We literally just caulked the middle of it to make it look like it was one piece. We literally took a little 2-inch nail gun, nailed them together, and then caulked the seam to make it look like it was one big old cubby hole. Above anything we did for storage, this is what helped the most, because my girls have a lot of little stuff. So they have a lot of little figures, a lot of little, you know, just little accessories and stuff. That's the majority of what they have. So we had to cut back on some of those, but what we kept are stored in these. And there's a variety of things that we've stored per tier, I guess you could say. So like the pink tier, the floral tier, and the taupe tier. And the top one, it's toys. So we have in this one, we've got Shopkins. This is all the Shopkins that they kept. This is all that they wanted to keep. I told them they could fill up these bins three-fourths of the way, just because I didn't want them getting too high. You know, I wanted to get rid of some stuff, and they probably could have fit all of their little stuff in these. So they got rid of what they wanted to in Shopkins and kept this. One of you guys suggested moving this garland so that it didn't mess with storage and putting it like up there or something. I'm going to find somewhere to put it because I agree with you, it does mess with storage. This is all the Barbie dolls that they kept, and in their defense, when it's pushed down, it is 3/4 of the way full. They got their little shoes in this bag. That's all the shoes that they kept, and this is just all Barbie clothes. This is all their accessories. So this is their fall accessories for their dollhouse, their Christmas accessories, little furniture, their mini brands are in here, little strollers, just accessories that they use for their Barbie dolls. That and their seasonal decor for their Barbie dolls is in there. Here is their American dolls or My Life dolls and their Build-A-Bear clothes. here's the only figurines that they kept. So this is just an assortment of figurines. And then this is all the calico critters that they kept. The floral ones, this one is empty. So we actually have an empty bin. They're LOL accessories. So they're LOL clothes, LOL cars, LOL bottles. This one has their big calico critter stuff and their big Barbie doll accessories / Barbie doll toys. They wanted to keep some of their little vehicles, and I told them they could as long as they fit in here. This one is an exception because honestly, they could have probably filled this one up. Yeah, to make them both 3/4 of the way filled up. But this is just big dollhouse furniture stuff. And then this as well is big dollhouse furniture stuff. And then over here is all of their stuffed animals that they wanted, like their little My Little Ponies and their little sentimental little stuffed animals that mean a lot to them. They put there as well as under their bed. Oh, and their little My Life baby. So they have that baby, and then they have this little baby. And then here in the bottom, accessories, hats, toboggans, gloves, stuff like that. Accessories for them. Undergarments. Socks, pajamas, leggings. I also wanted to keep their little travel bags here on the back of the door, which I told them was fun. That is how we stored so much in this area. So we've got little toys, bigger toys, clothes, accessories for the girls, and undergarments and stuff like that in the bottom. Here in the closet, we have a little apartment. So we have plans on transforming this entire closet, and what we're going to do is going to have like their dolls are going to have an apartment in their closet basically. So having this in here, we're going to add some lights, and having this in here is going to help with the accessories not migrating in here, because that tends to happen a lot, and a majority of their mess comes from this dollhouse. So I thought maybe putting it here in the bottom of the closet and adding some lights in here would minimize the mess, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if this works. If not, we'll bring it out and we'll put it like behind that door, or right here if we have to. Over here in this corner, and we'll move that vase would be a perfect spot for it. But when I mentioned them having a little apartment in their closet, they were like, yes! So we're going to try this out. They've got their little family vehicle. And then over here, yep, that's where Shane put the American Girl dolls and stuff. I told you we would find them. But then they have their clothes and their backpacks up here. They have their pants over here. That wasn't a fart. That was my floor. They got their Bible, one of their Bibles. And they've got all of their board games up here. They also had their little jewelry boxes here. It goes with the theme of their room. I'm pretty pleased. I think they're going to be able to enjoy this room so much more with minimal stuff. It's not a minimalist room by any means. We put a lot of storage in here because they have a lot of things. But I did want to make sure that they did get rid of some things because there was just too much. And I couldn't bear the thought of this room ended up like their last room did. Granted, they had a lot less space to play and to maneuver around in that room. They have more now. But I really just wanted them to begin to think critically, because when you get older, I don't want them being like me and then getting all of this stuff and then 6 months later doing a huge declutter and then just gathering more stuff and then 6 months later doing a huge declutter. I want them to be able to think critically about what they really want, what they're utilizing, things that they actually have something to do with, and kind of learn to make their own choices when it comes to that sort of thing, so that they can do it when they're an adult and a teenager. So this is what it looks like lived in. Still absolutely gorgeous. I love this room. I told them I want to make me a third bed right here. Very lived in. It's got my baby stuff in here, but that's what it's meant for. It's not meant to be a showroom by any means. I'm going to help Shane load this stuff up. I hope you guys have a blessed morning, even night, whatever it is, wherever you're at. Know that I love you, but Jesus loves you more. I'll see y'all later.